Well, Marcia, there's so much profound symbolism in your book. And one of the early conversations we had was how were we going to capture all that in the cover to the book? And fortunately, you had a great idea, and a very talented Kansas artist agreed to work with us. And there she is, Ms. Barbara Waterman Peters. She is an award-winning artist with works in museums, corporate and private collections. Her artistic heart shines through in her beautiful personality. She has shown such love and generosity to us when we've been working with her. And Barbara, thank you for being here. And I'm going to sit back and listen to what the two of you have to talk about.
Okay, welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
When Thea, first asked me about who I would like to do art for the cover, the very first name I said to her was I would really love to have Barbara Waterman Peters because I've admired her work for so long. So I am thrilled that we got to work with you on this, and I think the collaboration worked out with really well, and I love what we ended up with. But I think it'd be great for people to hear from you about the process, what the collaboration was like for you.
Okay, I would love to talk about that. First, it was an honor to be approached by you and Thea, two women I admire very much. And at our first meeting, the excitement and enthusiasm and the eagerness to come up with ideas, how we sort of wove together the possibilities really sticks in my mind. It was a marvelous meeting. You were very astute, I think, in your having a very strong idea of what you wanted for the cover. Now, I will admit it took me a little aback. A pickup with a tree coming out of the back of the bed. It was not something I had tackled before, but I thought, okay, there has to be a good reason for Marcia to want to challenge my skills. I had the good fortune to read a draft of the entire novel, and it's wonderful to hear you read it tonight in your voice. I love it. And I began by doing some sketches of old pickup trucks, of trees, just kind of general little pencil sketches, doodles. I did a lot of research. I got online, I looked for old pickups, we discussed what year you wanted, above all, what color you wanted. And then, of course, the tree was to be a Western red cedar, more research. I have reams of paper of things I found about these specific things. And I decided to then do some color sketches so that we would be talking about the same thing. And the drawings were done very carefully and then colored pencil used. And that did lead to some questions about the color, but we could tell that we were all thinking along the same lines.
Maybe this would be a good time to look at the paintings that you created. I think we have a slide of them. Yes. So these are the paintings that the images eventually got incorporated into the cover that Amy Albright did so well. But can you tell us a little bit more if people are looking straight on the paintings?
Yes, I'd be happy to. First of all, I thought about what I was doing. What is this project? Well, it's a book cover. And so I wanted the images to be very smooth. So I selected a smooth surface board. I wanted the colors to be very bright, and so I chose acrylic. I wanted the situation to be such that there was uh, an intrigue with the image, and yet it was a little bit mysterious, and yet I could not use my usual dark, mysterious paintings. They didn't apply here. So I had to step out of my comfort zone. But working with you, I mean, you made suggestions. You sent me images of things you wanted to include. So it was just a pleasure to interpret all that, to decide where to put it, to decide what scale to do everything on, how much shadow to use. I could go on and on about, because I did spend quite a bit of time on these. I wanted them to be exactly right. And the interesting thing is the kind of, and I'm sure people ask, why the orangey color for the background? Well, there are two reasons. One, orange is across from turquoise on the color wheel. Therefore, it would make the turquoise really pop. And two, it's a sort of subtle reference to opposites. And I, thinking of the young Native American man and the young woman, and then how she wanted to be both rooted and to travel. And so this was a subtle reference to that. There are two other interesting things about this project, and I'll be very brief. One, getting the turquoise just right was a challenge. As you could probably tell from Marcia's photographs in the early part of the program, turquoise is a very definite favorite color of hers. And so I wanted to be very attentive to that. The second thing is that the original concept was that the back of the truck would be on the front cover and the front of the truck would be on the back cover. The idea being that at the beginning of, or at when Ava leaves, she drives off, and then at the end, she comes back. So this would reinforce that. Well, when Amy did the graphic design, she switched that, and we all loved it. Yes, that works beautifully. So it was interesting that each of us had a role in coming up with these. So thank you so much for asking.
Well, you were such a pleasure to work with. And Thea, if you could put the photograph back up just for a minute. Right, you started out, Thea, by talking about the symbolism, and I just want to tell you what some of the instruction that we asked or requests we made of Barbara. The truck, there is a turquoise truck in the book that Ava and Jesse travel in for a while. And to me, it has to do with motion. The truck has to do with motion. And the tree has roots, growing roots, and that has to do with putting roots down. And I think it really works as a representation of Ava's pull in two directions. One, her being a wanderer and wanting to travel, and the other, her need for home and family. And so that's what we were the idea we were trying to work with. I just thought if people looked at it again, they could follow what I was saying. But thank you, Barbara. It was wonderful to work with you, and this was a great collaboration in all ways.
Thank you, Barbara. It was an honor to get to know you and to have your artistic work on this. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.